Yo, what's good everyone? OJ here and welcome to another video. Today we have some awesome information for you guys, so let's go ahead and get right into it. And we are starting off with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 sales far exceeding Monolith Soft's expectations and talk about the future of the franchise. So here is what Tetsuya Takahashi from Monolith Soft had to say on the sales of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. From a sales perspective, I have to say Xenoblade Chronicles 2 exceeded my expectations, Takahashi tells a US Gamer through a translator in a recent phone interview. We really saw more people pick the game up and experience it in North America and European territories than we thought would do so. It's still early days for the Torna DLC, but from what we've seen in Japan, the sales of the Torna DLC are exceeding our expectations as well, Takahashi adds. Now let's talk a little bit more on the future of the franchise with Xenoblade Chronicles. Though Takahashi says he's not ready to talk about what we might see in a future installment of Xenoblade Chronicles, US Gamer did ask if there's a chance the series will return to the harder science fiction setting we saw in Xenoblade Chronicles X for the Wii U. For example, will we be returning to exploring planets and exploiting mechs instead of traveling on the backs of the huge living titans that define Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles 2? Takahashi says it's possible, but a third option isn't off the table either. Quote, "I'm someone who gets bored with whatever I did last," says Takahashi. If the Xenoblade Chronicles series continues, you might see it take a third option. It might go down a path it hasn't gone down before. So that's extremely exciting. So it's Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So maybe it's not a sci-fi setting. Maybe it's not what we've seen before. Maybe it's like an old school fantasy, or maybe it's a completely modern day type of RPG with fantasy elements kind of put into it. And that might be pretty cool. So think maybe Final Fantasy 15, where looks like a modern day type of thing, but then it also has like advanced technology inside of that. So who knows what they can go with this. Now recently I did a discussion about Monolith Soft with Torna the Golden Country and talking about that game and what they've done to refine the combat. I also talked about potential Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and what they can do there, and even if they can bring back a Xenoblade Chronicles X or like a Xenoblade Chronicles 1 remaster or something like that. So it does seem that maybe he doesn't want to go back, at least with Takahashi and the main Xenoblade team, or the main Monolith Soft team. I shouldn't say main Xenoblade team, main Monolith Soft team. I don't think they want to go back and remaster everything. I think that's something that they can pass off to somebody else. Nintendo can get somebody else to do something like that. I think Takahashi, he wants to do new things. He wants to try different things. Even if you look at Xenoblade Chronicles 1, Xenoblade Chronicles X, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2, heck, even if you add in Torna the Golden Country, all of them have so many different things to them that make them unique and make them their own games. Of course, they're all loosely related here and there, whether they're direct sequels or follow-ups or DLC or in the same world. I get that, but they're all very different in terms of the tone and kind of the style that you have with some of the characters and what they do. Similarities when it comes to battle systems and things like that, but lots of different stuff. So I can see Takahashi-san just saying, you know what, let's just try something completely different. Let's go hardcore into like more of a modern age and what the characters would look like, and then let's add fantasy elements from there. Let's go from that point, the third option that he's talking about. Or maybe let's just do something completely different. Now this one is probably wild, right? This is a wild thing, and I know a lot of you guys probably wouldn't like something like this, but I would like to see if they could, in addition to having like a main game, but even if after like a Xenoblade Chronicles 3, like they take a stab at like some type of massively multiplayer online Xenoblade game. That's something that's separate. So they hire a bunch of people, they kind of do something that's separate to what they've done before. Don't make it like the mainline type of thing, but that would probably be the only real MMO that I would actually try out. Like MMOs I'm not big on, but the Xenoblade franchise, if you look at how it's played and everything, it's kind of like an MMO, right? When you're going around in the world, it's kind of like that. Obviously there's not a bunch of other players in there, but how you have the enemies right there, you can go and attack them at any time, leveling up and stuff like that. It's just, it feels like it at times. That would be like the thing that I would actually try if they did that. If Monolith Soft said, we're doing an MMO, we're also going to do Xenoblade 3, okay? So you guys are going to get Xenoblade 3, so look forward to that. But then we're also going to do an MMO as well. I'd be completely down for that. And I would try that out and I'd sign up in a heartbeat. You know, I would sign up in a heartbeat, and I don't play MMOs at all. Everyone's always wanted a Pokemon MMO, and I'd try that out too, but I don't necessarily want one of those as much. But if Monolith Soft made one, I think that would be pretty cool, and I'd try it out at least. Now, I don't want it to be like the main thing, you know, where that's what we get as the main Xenoblade game or whatever they're doing next, but it'd be cool as something that they do on the side, because Monolith Soft is actually big enough to have multiple projects in development, right? Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and whatever they're working on next was made by pretty much 2 splintered teams, right? So only about 40 people or so, and then they had a little bit of outside help as well with some art and things like that, made Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So I think it's possible, and they're always hiring new people as well. So it's not like I want to see a MMO as the main line game in the next Xenoblade or in the next game that they're doing, but I think that'd be cool after whatever they do with the next Xenoblade or whatever their new IP is, if they try something kind of really different with that, and I'd be down to at least try it at least. So what do you guys think about Monolith Soft and what they had to say here, Takahashi, the sales of the game and everything? I think it's great. It's great to see so many people pick up Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and the game had a huge push by a lot of dedicated YouTubers and fans out there. I know I was pushing Xenoblade Chronicles 2 so much because I want to see the franchise continue. I want to see the franchise do great, and I honestly feel that it's really good. Although it definitely has some flaws here and there, they've ironed out a lot of it over the course of the expansion pass, and Torn of the Golden Country kind of fixes a lot of different stuff. So if you haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles 2 at this point, it's not too late. You can get into that, and then the Torn DLC is even better. You can buy that standalone. Heck, even if you want to just get right into Torn of the Golden Country because it's a prequel to Xenoblade Chronicles 2, you can do so as well. So it looks like the DLC is selling well. It looks like the base game is doing really well too. We haven't really got much of a sales update since that last June or July. So it definitely looks like, all things considered, it's going to be well on its way past 2 million units. So that's definitely good, because the last time we heard it was like at 1.5 million units. So really cool to hear what Monolith Soft is doing, and it looks like Xenoblade Chronicles 3 isn't some type of weird dream. It could become a reality at some point. So what do you guys think about all this here, what Takahashi had to say on the matter? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving to the next topic here. The PlayStation Experience will not be coming this year in 2018, and it's because Sony doesn't have a lot of games to show. So they've decided not to do a PlayStation Experience this year, which they've done for the past couple years. So let's go ahead and get right into the topic here. So a PlayStation Experience will not be in 2018. Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studio Chairman Sean Layden said on the latest PlayStation blogcast. Here's what he had to say on the matter. Quote, "For 2018, I know this is going to be a disappointment to some people, but we have decided not to hold a PlayStation Experience. We won't have it in the States this year. The reason behind that really are we don't have a lot of progress that we're making in our games. And we're seeing that coming out now that we have Spider-Man out the door, and we're looking down into 2019 into games like Dreams and Days Gone, but we wouldn't have enough to bring people all together in some location in North America to have that event. We don't want to set expectations really high, then not deliver on it. It was a hard decision, but we have determined that this year we will not hold a PlayStation Experience." So the PlayStation Experience, for those who don't know, is usually like a 2-day event held in December where Sony and its publishing partners all kind of come together to exhibit different games and have fans over and press conference style opening. I mean, it's all sorts of stuff. I've never liked any of the PlayStation conferences, to be honest. I've never thought they were that good, but people who have went there said that they've had a good time and everything. It's funny because everyone's talking about how great of a year Sony's had with, you know, their first party development, but they've released 3 games. They released Spider-Man, which was really good. They released God of War, which was really good. And they also released, I think, Detroit, which was, for some people, really good, and for others, not quite as good as the other 2 games. So they released those 3 games, and that was really it. You know, that was it. And I knew kind of they didn't have much because at E3 this past year, they just focused on a bunch of games that they've already announced. So at E3, they did that really weird E3 where they were moving people around. I thought it was absolutely horrible. Like, they didn't show a lot of games. They showed some cool stuff, but it's not even about not showing a lot of games. It's about just continuing to show the same stuff, you know, same stuff that we've seen for years now. They showed Spider-Man. Obviously, they showed The Last of Us. So they had that there, but I mean, there wasn't really a lot of different things there. Now, there was Resident Evil, and there was some other stuff that they kind of put in as well, but in terms of first-party content, wasn't really a ton of different things that we were going to be able to play like right away outside of stuff that we already knew, right? Like Spider-Man. So for me, this was expected that they probably wouldn't do one of these things because they're really gearing up. At least it seems like they're gearing up for the PlayStation 5, because that's probably going to take a lot of resources and a lot of money off of potentially putting into PlayStation 4 games. So they need to get ready for that. We don't know how strong the system is going to be. We don't know the development costs. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot higher, right? Just because it always does that from generation to generation. Maybe not as bad as from, like, let's say the 6th generation to 7th generation, but I still feel that it's going to be a hefty cost. So I think they're really kind of getting ready and gearing up for the next iteration of PlayStation and their games. So they don't have much to show at this point, right? They don't have much to show. So it was kind of expected for me, but whatever. It is what it is. What do you guys think about this? Are you guys disappointed there's no PlayStation experience this year? Were you expecting more from Sony? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of PlayerEssence across the internet in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube live gaming pages and consider supporting PlayerEssence. When you do so, it gets you access to all sorts of cool benefits, perks, rewards, and emotes via YouTube sponsorship. So check out the link in the description below and consider supporting PlayerEssence right here on YouTube. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you, Ninja, for the next video. Peace.